Hey, shalom, shalom, Mishpocha. Welcome back to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. I'm your host, Rabbi Yehuda ben Shomer, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about anti-Semitic eschatology, mainly in the realm of Christianity. Now, if anybody has been a viewer of my videos for any length of time, you'll know that I have discussed some of the anti-Torah, antinomian, and anti-Semitic theology that exists in Christianity, and the false and misinterpretation of some passages in the Brit Chadasha, also known as the New Testament, such as, they believe that, Jesus nailed the Torah to the cross, when in fact it says that he nails the penalty of the Torah, of the law, to the cross, which is death. It has nothing to do with the Torah, nailing the Torah to the cross. And, there's also some anti-Semitic doctrines out there called replacement theology, where you have that old prejudice and tired argument that it was the Jews who killed Jesus, and it was the Jews who are the Christ killers and put Jesus on the cross, when in fact it was all humanity that put Yeshua on the cross. And if it wasn't for all humanity putting Yeshua on the cross, we would have no chance of redemption whatsoever. So it was a good thing. I just had a thought. I really believe, just as at Mount Sinai, when the Torah was given, the Jewish people were there, the nation of Israel, but among them were a representative from all of the 70 known nations at that time. They were called the mixed multitude, and they accepted Torah as well as Israel accepting Torah at Mount Sinai at that day. And when Yeshua's kangaroo court trial, where Pilate said, hey, do you want me to release Barabbas or do you want me to release Yeshua? It's up to you. And they said, release Barabbas and crucify Yeshua. It wasn't just the Jews who were there, but it was, people from all over. I mean, Jerusalem was a international type of city. I mean, you had merchants and people coming from everywhere, and so I'm sure that there was a lot of Gentiles from various nations who were involved in this crucify Yeshua type of thing. So you have this replacement theology, which is blasphemous, saying that the Gentile Christian church has replaced the Jewish people and all the promises made to the Jewish people. Well, if that was so, then God's a liar, and God changes, and the Scripture says that He is not a liar, that He does not change. So the church, the Gentile Christians have not replaced the Jewish people or the people of Israel, the nation of Israel. And I've been reading a book called The Faith Club, and it's about a Muslim, Christian, and Jewish mother who are getting together to write an interfaith book. And they discover they have a lot of issues they need to work out amongst themselves, and the different prejudice they hear from their own religion and from other people about each other's faiths and things. And I ran across this one idea that I've never heard before directly, but it makes a lot of sense, and I've heard the implications of it, but not put in such a way that the evangelical right-wing Christian believers support Israel for one purpose and one purpose only, that is, so that when Messiah comes, the Jews will either convert or die. And He will get rid of all the Jewish people when He returns on that day. Well, of course, obviously, no bones about it, no holds barred, hands down, that's the most stupid and ridiculous interpretation, anti-Semitic, antinomian I have ever heard in my life. It is ridiculous, because you're under the assumption that Jesus came to create a new religion, which He didn't, that He is against the Jewish people, which He is not, which He is a Jew Himself. Yeshua didn't come to create a new religion. He came to bring complete and full understanding and meaning to the original one. Matthew 5 says that. He said, I did not come to destroy the Torah or the prophets, the Tanakh. I come to bring it into its full meaning. I know that doesn't say that literally, that's a paraphrase, but that is the gist and the meaning of the Greek and Hebrew behind that passage. So, let me read to you a prophecy out of Zechariah 8:23. It says, Thus saith Adonai of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all the languages of the nations. In other words, a Gentile possibly 10 men from 10 different Gentile nations, shall take hold of the skirt, and that's a very poor, bad translation. Really, it should say tzitzit, the fringes, that they will take hold of the tzitzit of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we heard that God, that Elohim, is with you. This is not talking about a run-of-the-mill Jewish person. This is talking about a Jewish believer in Messiah Yeshua. A Torah-obedient, observant Jewish believer in Yeshua that wears tzitzit, that keeps the Torah, that keeps the feasts. And in the end times, there will be sort of a revival that's already happening now. And as a Jewish rabbi, I'm hearing more and more, at least once a month or once every other month, of Gentiles from the church fed up with churchianity, fed up with being a sheeple. And they're putting two and two together, just using sheer logic, saying, well, Jesus was a Jew, Jesus obeyed the Torah, Jesus kept the feast, Jesus went to synagogue, why don't we do that? And they start questioning everything that they've ever been taught or believe, and they look, it's like they look at the scriptures, the Tanakh and the Brit Chadasha with new eyes, and they're discovering, you know what, the Torah is still in effect, you know what, the Torah still applies, even to us Gentiles. And so, this passage tells us that in the end times, that there will be a resurgence of Jewish believers that believed in practice in the first century Netzari Jewish way, yet in an acceptable, modern 21st century way, if you will. And that people will come to them saying, you know what, we heard that God is with you, you know. So when Messiah Yeshua comes, he's not going to come with a flaming sword and pointing at the Jewish people and say, convert or die. They have no reason to convert. There's nothing to convert to. They're Jewish. Their faith, their religion is Jewish. It's Hebrew. You know, Yeshua didn't come to create a new religion called Christianity. The Gentiles and Constantine did all that. He came to bring full and complete meaning to the original one. As Jude said, the faith once delivered to the saints. Now, the only thing that and there's also prophecy saying that all Israel will believe. Well, how is all Israel going to believe? It's going to believe because there's going to be Torah-obedient Jewish believers in Messiah Yeshua who's going to proclaim the truth about Messiah Yeshua and debunk all the Gentile, Romanesque, Greekized idea of the anti-Torah, anti-Semitic Jesus and open up the scriptures to who the Messiah truly is through the Tanakh. And they will see that Yeshua is Messiah, and Messiah will return, and they will believe. There'll be a lot who believe before then, but when Messiah returns, they'll say, oh, this is the Messiah. They were right all along. We were just hearing it from a skewed point of view. We were just seeing it from, you know, through funhouse mirror eyeglasses. So this whole notion of Jesus bringing judgment upon the Jewish people and doing away with the Jewish people and giving it all to the Gentile church as judgment in the last days is a total anti-Torah, anti-Semitic farce to the nth degree. So I just wanted to clear up that fallacy, and also, you know, I don't want to paint with one broad stroke. I realize that the majority of Christianity does not believe this. There's a lot of Gentile Christians who side with Israel, and not for the fact that they think that Israel's going to be destroyed, the Jewish people is going to be destroyed. There's a lot of good believers, Gentile believers, who love the Jewish people and love Israel. But I just want to make you aware that there is a small right-wing crazy fringe that does believe that ridiculous notion that Israel will be destroyed and that the Jewish people will be destroyed when Messiah comes, and the Gentile Christian church has replaced Israel and all this ludicrous stuff. So hopefully this helps give you a better understanding about some things, and running out of time here, so I'm going to sign off and say shalom and Shavua Tov. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.